So moving on, we're going to proceed to the next panel discussions titled Global Trend of Real-World Asset, Institutional Adoption as a Driver. So now I would like to invite our panel chair to come up on stage. May I please invite Mr. Marco Lim, Independent Non-Executive Director, Boyaa Interactive International Limited. And also our panelists including Ms. Esme, Head of Capital Markets, CertiK. Mr. Anson Lee, Vice President of Growth, CoinMarketCap. And last but not least, Mr. Felix Tsui, Chief Operating Officer, HKT Financial Services. Let's give them a warm applause. Welcome, our panel chair and panelists. And without any further ado, I'm going to pass over the stage to you. Marco, please.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor to host this panel because we have all the good expertise here from the Web3 side of things. We have the enterprise, we have the data, we have the securities. So today we're going to dig quite deep into how this institutionals and RWAs actually integrate together, how we see this adaptations this year. It's a big move in the market that we have this RWA topics and then we have stablecoin together as well. So this year, in the Web3 crypto world, RWA is a very hot topic. So we want to actually understand from an institutional perspective how this is going to impact, going forward, how enterprise is going to react to it, how from the security side and also the data side of things. So no further ado, I'm going to set the stage and then have everyone, starting with maybe Felix, to have a quick introductions of his firm, himself, and then how his company actually intersect with this ecosystem.
Sure, thank you, Marcos. Well, I guess many of you may know HKT. We are the largest telco in Hong Kong, and we do a lot of business for both retail and commercial. But in fact, not many of you may know is that we do have a digital venture under HKT where we engage in e-commerce, payment, telemedicine, and a variety other of startup or more digital native business. And we've started actually the journey with RWA almost 3-4 years ago, starting with tokenized money. And back then it was about the e-Hong Kong dollar project that we did with Hong Kong Monetary Authority. And since then we sort of expanded the topic of RWA that we're interested in. And I'm happy to share more during the panel.
Hi everyone, I'm Anson Lee from CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is the leading crypto information platform. I think in the crypto world, most of the participants know CoinMarketCap. We have around 70% of market share when it comes to tracking crypto data and all related content. Today, I think CoinMarketCap is already a 10 years plus crypto firm. I think it's a very long history. Yeah. So we emerging from crypto price data to all content surrounding crypto. So we describe ourselves as hum of crypto. So you can rephrase us as Bloomberg of crypto, etc. So apart from traditional coin price, I think we are integrating more data direction to CMC, for example, the RWA or the meme coin recently. And also we are also developing AI for crypto. Yeah, so I think CMC is a very integrated, comprehensive crypto data platform. And myself, currently leading marketing and community initiative. Yeah, both a important aspect of CoinMarketCap. Yeah, so welcome. Thanks for having me to share today. Yeah.
Esme?
Right, good morning everyone, and it's glad to be here, and it's glad to be home as well. It's for 2 reasons. So first of all, Cyberport helped us on every part of our journey. For CertiK, first of all, to be landing here, and then being a unicorn right now. And the second is that we also have our office here, so it's glad to be here. And for myself, so my history is mostly in traditional finance, in which I built 2 digital asset desks in 2 different brokers. And then right now, I lend a capital market and also a policy lens for CertiK, in which we're led by academics who are professors in Columbia and also Yale University.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So in Cyberport, we have 200, not only CertiK, but we have 280 plus of Web3 company actually landed here. So it's a great ecosystem here. And CMC also have an office here. I just heard, right? And by people who don't know, CoinMarketCap is one of the biggest database, and I also teach a course in university, and I ask all the students if they cannot search this token on CoinMarketCap, this is probably a scam. So CoinMarketCap is one of the go-to website, everybody have if they want to know crypto, that's a website to be. So I guess I'll start with the first question, because Felix come from an enterprise background, and we, as you said, you guys already started, a few years ago, which I also don't know, so I'm learning something new today. How, like, what's the use case? Like, why do HKT wanted to get into this space and get started this journey?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to take a slightly broader definition of RWA, not so much just on investment or wealth-related asset, but more broadly of how we define an asset for a person or a company. As I mentioned, we started with tokenized money because we do have a strong payment business. We are one of the SVFs in Hong Kong and Tap and Go. And very interestingly, when we look at payments specifically, is very siloed rail, right? Before even FPS came, everyone built their own closed loop. You have Visa Master Network. And then when FPS came, we do have a sort of common platform, but it's not really like a common platform you can directly go innovate on top, right? You require sort of working with the operator to do that. And then as part of the payment business, the merchant side is very important as well. And when we look at the merchant side, again, it's a completely separate rail in terms of how loyalties are done, in terms of how offers are done. And what we were very interested is that in the world of blockchain, finally, there is actually a common rail for everything, right? Money, offers, other type of assets. So that's sort of where we started with that interest, and it's sort of grown from there. Now, not only are we interested in tokenized money, we are actually working on decentralized ID, because that's another type of asset that most people don't think about. I mean, think about when your ID is stolen, your identity is stolen. That's a big hit on your credit, on your personal wealth potentially, and so all of these type of asset being on chain allows for a lot of innovation to happen. And HKT, I must confess, we are a 150-year-old company, so we're not a startup, but we keep looking at sort of the next technology leap, where as a telco, with our user base, with our broad scale of service, we can support that leap.
Wow, Felix, that's something I never thought about as well. Not only tokenizing the money, mobilizing it, but also the ID, and also you talk about the offer. I never thought about, synchronizing the three things all together on the one platform, because they can do all the data sharings because of RWA tokenizations. They can all share the same thing. That's pretty powerful. So because there's a lot of data, so I'm going to ask, go to Anson and ask, how do CoinMarketCap support all these data? What are you guys doing to support the institutional side, and what kind of data are they receiving from the RWA world?
Yeah. So being the industry leader of crypto data, of course, this year RWA is very important narrative that we need to catch up. So we integrated RWA price data around middle of this year. So I think CMC's strength is data aggregation. Yeah, there's a lot of details of aggregating the right price data without very outlier data points. So I think that's very important to users and also institution players as well. But I want to add that apart from data is the important reason come here. But our surrounding data, CMC is also a very providing a very complete solution of information aggregation. So when you look at this price or this data, what is happening for this coin or this stock is also around in there. Because information is also part of the price. So when you check why there's such a fluctuation, you want to know why. Yeah, this is one aspect. Another aspect is, I think it's about education. We have CMC Live, so-called. We always invite top industry players to have a online panel like this in front of all crypto users. I think that will be a very big base of audience. Every time you got around 30 to 50K tuning user. This is the second aspect, it's about education. Third is about, we also incubate partners, players. So we have a project called CMC Labs. So we investigate different startups, and if they are good at certain narratives, having some unique selling point, I think we'll incubate a project to become a part of the emerging crypto player. So I think CMC as a leader, not just addressing the data point, we come with different aspects to support the growth of RWA. Yeah.
Wow, that's I didn't know you guys have a lab as well. Maybe I can get some of the Cyberport startup to start going to you guys and see whether there's some synergies between. But I think data from a point is really important because for myself as well, when I come from a more trading background, looking at the RWA data, because now you have tokenized that money market fund, tokenized that money, stablecoin is also something that is tokenized. That these data are very crucial in terms of trading, and we've seen that in October 11, where there was a big crisis in the crypto market, and not having a good data point, I think that will harm the trading environment as well for a lot of people who are trying to make decisions in investing in not only RWA but from the trading side as well. So because we have data, coming to Esme now, I think we want to ask how is CertiK supporting this RWA ecosystem by what kind of solutions you guys are providing to the RWA world.
Right, sure, thanks. That's a great question. So regarding what CertiK does, so we're the world's largest smart contract auditor, but it doesn't stop here, it just starts there. So think about us as a big four in which we're firmly anchored in auditing. At the same time, what we do is our vision is to ensure everybody gets onto Web3 in a very secure and also safe way. And therefore, around our ecosystem, we actually work with different partners from the start of the journey all the way up to when they become very big financial institutions or with regulators. So what we do with RWA is that when we look at the risk, we actually have sector reports in which we analyze the risk of different RWA projects. And to give you guys a flavor, so we currently have a dashboard. It's skynet.certik.com. I'm happy to share the website. We track the live data of 18,000 global RWA, stablecoin, and also blockchain projects. And the end users of this would be regulators, governments, 2B and also 2C. So right now, there are millions of users on board of our platform. And CoinMarketCap are very good partners of ours. So on top of that, we're actually building an enterprise version in which that's solely targeted to surveillance regulators, law enforcement, and also with financial institutions. So to further go one step further. So what's the major pain point of RWA? It's the weakness and also the weakest link between on-chain and also off-chain data. So on that, we basically filter through all the different security data points. For example, number one would be Oracle and also pricing risk. We filtered that into 6 different dimensions, and then we put out reports to make sure to validate investors, to make sure that it's safe for them to access certain RWA projects. And the second thing, we are also the gatekeeper for different financial institutions, regulators, standard bearers to ensure that they're able to enforce that adequately. And thirdly, so we also do bespoke tokenization projects. So for example, even 3 years before, we've worked with Ripple in terms of their token implementation as well as their MAS licensing. So all in all, I would say that we are a one-stop shop and also full cycle blockchain technology provider.
Wow, Esme, I didn't know you guys do off-chain data point as well. So you guys actually do the off-chain stuff as well?
Right. So right now, in terms of our 6 different metrics, the way you can look at it will be very similar to rating agencies, for example, S&P and also Moody's, and how they rate stablecoin assessments, and also for RWA. So for us, one of them would include operational, governance, and also the asset layer. For the asset layer, we work with off-chain valuation partners in order to provide us with the data. So I would say that for us at CertiK, so we're very humble. Obviously, we're one of the blockchain unicorns, but at the same time, we know that in a space like this, the market, the pricing, and also in terms of security, these are all very humbling factors. And as a result, we're building with the industry together and also with our partners like CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, that's really crucial because when we are doing RWA investment, not only we want the on-chain data, we also want the off-chain data. I didn't realize that you guys also have the off-chain data like S&P rating as well. That's very crucial when making investment decisions in RWA. Going back to Felix, I want to ask further, dig deeper on how you actually leverage on existing your firm infrastructures into building the RWA. What's the crucial part in building that? Like, how can you leverage that?
I think for any large enterprise with some history, it's not always easy to leverage the newest stuff right away. I think the learnings we had was start with finding sort of the right business and team to begin, right? And then let them sort of guide the rest of the business in. So the way we did that was we obviously found a more digital native business of the whole sort of telco ecosystem. For us, it would be on the payment side, right? And that's where we started, right? We worked with actually cyberport incubated companies. We work with global Web3 companies. We work with very forward-thinking banks to actually together think about, okay, how can we not just do a pilot, but do a real business that could leverage these technology, which do not always succeed, let's be very honest, all right? But it's not just a pilot, right? But once we actually build real business and then we're seeing traction and make sense, that's where I think the rest of the engine will be a lot easier to convince to come in. And I think as a telco with over 3.8 million people in part of our loyalty program in Hong Kong, and again, we do a lot of projects with institutional, with commercial business, our sort of experience to share with them and how they could take the first step in their organization or personally to adopt these sort of new technologies like RWA, like tokenization, I think it's quite important. The other thing I ask, particularly for retail, is that you just need to make it Web 2, Web 3 agnostic. Like that's sort of the way I look at it. And sorry, let me rephrase that. It's not just retail. I mean, I've talked to our treasury team and they told me a very simple thing, right? I really just want the same dashboard that I can move money, right? Whether it is traditional rail, tokenized money. When I buy treasury, I don't really care if it's RWA. If it's faster settlement, great, right? But really just give me the same UI dashboard that in the same process, right? But with the advantage of these new innovations. That would be perfect. We'd love to adopt it, right? So I think that's sort of the learnings and from our experience we're sharing with our customer to help them with the journey.
Yeah, great answer, Felix, because I think you guys actually go to B to C, right? Instead of most people in the, I think, blockchain industry do not like you guys actually have a huge group of retail clients, consumer, that you guys are actually facing that. And you brought out, Web 2, Web 3 agnostic. That's a very good, because I try to tell people, right, from the consumer side, you might not feel that it's already blockchain, but actually when you use tap and go, maybe that's already behind the scene, it's already all blockchain and also all Web3 ecosystem and all widely connected. So I think now the questions go to Anson, because you have talked about the data source, how you integrate that and make that available to institutional. How do you, the question that I'm eager to ask you is, how do you take out the outliner? How do you see these are bad data like from good data? How do you distinguish them in this RWA world?
Yeah, that's a great question. That exactly cut to the core pain point of this. Yeah, so I think it's something very complicated when it comes to crypto data, both on-chain and we'll call it on SEX data. So CMC, after so many years, we have very broad integration with different exchange APIs and also on-chain DEX. Yeah, we integrated around 100 of blockchain data. Yeah, so I think before the concept of RWA, I think one good example is USDT. Yeah, so I think previously there's many USDT depleg incident happened, right? But when you look at CMC data, we don't have so many outliers. We will reflect the right fluctuation in general. I think the critical part is that after years of experience, we developed an algo to flag outliers from some, for example, suspicious trading volume and unfair price from some small exchange, for example, right? So you mentioned about the October 17. So at that point, if your price is affected by some small exchange or unusual trading volume, that will cause aggregate liquidation to some trading algo example. Yeah. So I think for CMC, the strength is inherited from our experience of stabilizing the right fair price of crypto data across the crypto chains. Yeah, and also SEX central exchange. Yeah, so I think this strength can bring along to RWA data as well, because RWA data is very sensitive to price fluctuation, right? They are not meme coins, right? Meme coins you can pay 50% change is usual, yeah. But with RWA asset, a few points of difference makes a lot of difference. So I think CMC have a long history of strong performance on this. Yep.
Nice, nice. I think, yeah, Anson is 100% right, because on the data source, if we don't take out the outliner, there will be a lot of liquidations in the market, which cause more unhealthy market for trading environment. So to Esme, I think what are the biggest security risks you see on RWA that you have been seeing, from CertiK point of view?
Right, let's start from the end user perspective. So that's the pain point. The pain point is lack of regulatory coherence across jurisdictions. And as we all know, in terms of whether we're talking about any Web3 phenomenon, whether it's stablecoin, RWA, the most important thing will be scale. It's only by scale that you can get the network effects to make an optimal amount of profitability, like USDT, right? So as a result, I think the silos between the different jurisdictions, for example, whether it's MiCA, whether it's the UAE FARA, or whether it's the Hong Kong jurisdictional framework, I think that's number one. And the second thing would be also around liquidity. So as I mentioned previously, so the weakest link will be between the off and also the on-chain, right? So I think, as we all understand, the usual practice is that for a lot of technologists and capital market specialists, they don't talk with each other, right? They talk across each other. And that's especially how that mentality breeds a lot of confusion around this. So I think what's really important and what CertiK has been spearheading is to make sure that we speak with all the stakeholders. We make sure that everybody is in the same loop. So for example, we educate the regulators and also the governments. We speak with a lot of the standard bearers, for example, S&P and also Moody's and other rating agencies. And number three is we also speak with the financial institutions, and many of them would be our clients when it comes to tokenization.
Sounds like there's some challenges still, right, within this industries on, bringing the on-chain and off-chain data all together, right?
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is that ultimately, so the two value capture points around RWA value chain will be number one, origination of assets, quality assets, and number two will be around distribution, right? So distribution will be covered off by what I mentioned about regulatory clarity being a prerequisite. But what's important also will be origination in assets. There need to be quality assets for people, investors to feel like investing, right? So what we always say is that when the asset is a lemon, if you add a token layer, it doesn't mean that it's going to magically transform into a super high yield asset, right? So I think it's very important for the buy side and the asset owners to actually come up with high quality assets for technology providers to tokenize, and that will also ensure there will be a captive audience of investors to be ready buyers of these assets.
Yeah, because we are almost running out of time, but I'll give one sentence for each of you to see where do you see RWA in the 3 to 5 years. If there are any challenges, feel free to speak out, starting from Felix.
I will see a wide variety of RWA, whether it's money, investment asset, identity, loyalty points, all of these creating new innovative products on-chain in the next 3 to 5 years.
Anson?
I want to set an expectation of the asset value. So today is around 35 billion, yeah. But by 2028, I think there's an expectation the market value could up to 2 trillion, yeah. So I think it's just a starting point of this great transition from TradFi to DeFi, yeah. So although there's a lot of obstacles to overcome, but I think it's the future is very optimistic. Yep.
Right. I'd like to pick up on a point that Felix very brilliantly raised earlier, and that is that in 3 to 5 years' time, I look forward that we'll be able to abstract away of the blockchain complexibilities. So by transacting on-chain, it will be like buying equities, and in which RWA or stable coins or the Web3 ecosystem in general is going to break through the 3 to 4 trillion ceiling to become a bigger market cap market.
Yeah, to conclude, I could not concur more with all you guys because I see this as a data game. Right? In the end, RWA is actually bringing everything that the underlying asset onto a data. It's rather just a financial products or any other product, loyalty points. It's a data, right? So when we put it on blockchain, we can use CoinMarketCap, screen out some of the bad data, and then using CertiK to able to have security check on both on-chain, off-chain as well. So to conclude, I think this RWA market will definitely go further down the road, and then we see Hong Kong as one of the biggest hub in Asia for Web3. So hopefully we can build this ecosystem on RWA, stablecoin, and Web3 together, and this Cyberport and Hong Kong together. Thank you, guys.